Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Ads with the Twang podcast. I'm your host, Ben Blackman, and on this episode, I'm going to be talking to you about why you should be running ads every single day, even if you have no idea what you're doing. Here comes episode 109. The Ads with the Twang podcast is dedicated to helping you create simple, successful ads and use smart strategies to grow your online business. Get ready because I think you're going to love this. All right, welcome to episode 109. I'm excited to have you here. And this is kind of a fun topic for me because I really do think that people should be running ads every single day. It's not like you have to run some huge budget, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but running ads helps you in so many ways. So a lot of times what I find is that people tend to avoid running ads until they know everything, or they feel like everything has to be perfectly ready to go or something like that. And in reality, the best way to learn ads is to just start doing it. And it's because when you have money in the game, then you can start making decisions. Now that there is becomes the issues, because a lot of people don't know what decisions to make because they don't know what the numbers mean or what they should change. And I get that, okay? And I'm not advocating just throwing money out there haphazardly. I'm also not necessarily advocating just boosting a bunch of posts, because for some reason it's strange when I talk to people that come to me, new clients and whatnot, they'll say that they've never run ads, but yet they boosted a bunch of posts. Well, that's running ads. So if you have boosted posts, that's what you're doing. Now, YouTube doesn't have and Google doesn't have the equivalent of that, so that's just a Facebook, Instagram thing. But so in a sense, you have run. But the question is, have you looked at the metrics? Have you analyzed them to see what the results were? And did you, before you ran it, what was your goal? What were you trying to do? Were you trying to add subscribers? Were you trying to, or followers, or whatever it is? Were you trying to get calls booked? Were you trying to sell your course? Whatever it is, you have to set that out before you start running an ad. And a lot of people don't, and I get that. I totally understand. One thing that's kind of nice, though, is even with a small budget, if you do run ads, is you're going to get a lot of data, and it's going to help you decide how to move forward in your business. And not to mention that doing it, you may be getting leads and stuff. So let me just say this real quick. I've heard this from coaches out there often, and they'll tell their clients, especially business coaches, will say something to their clients about why they shouldn't run ads yet until they have all these things in place. And I disagree with that. And the reason is because the ones I see that are the most successful, they just go ahead and start doing it. Okay, they don't wait till everything's perfect. Don't wait till everything's in place. And if you have a good enough offer out there and you're willing to put it out there into the world, then you should be ready to run ads. Now, again, I'm not advocating spending tons of money and all that stuff. You still have, a learning curve to go through and everything. You may not need to hire, somebody like me or somebody else to run your ads. I get that. But not running ads is not really the best solution there. So let me just tell you why I think you should be running ads every day. And yes, I wrote them down just in case. So, the fastest way to understand what works is to start running ads, because you can adjust based on real results fast. So let's just say you're running an ad to your lead magnet. Well, you're going to be able to find out fairly quickly if the people that you're getting from that lead magnet are a good fit. Even if they're not, buying right then or booking calls immediately, you can still kind of look most of them up and see if are these the right people that I'm getting. And if they're not, then what do I need to adjust? Is my lead magnet something that's not working out? Is not, it's just not hitting right? Is it the targeting, right? What's the issue? And you can see that, and you can adjust in real time and make the change, and then see what happens when you make the change. Now, it does take a little bit of discipline to do that, so you can't just turn them on and hope for the best. That's not a good strategy, although a lot of people do that. But nevertheless, it'll help you it's very quick to get the results, to understand what's going on. The ads also give you data that you can't get anywhere else. And it kind of leads back into what I just said, because you can get the data a lot faster. Well, when you're doing it organically, you're obviously relying on the algorithm to find the right people. And, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. So one of my clients who's a pretty big health coach, she on her Instagram, when we look at it, she works with women, mostly menopausal women, and the people who follow her are about 50% men. And so, so half the audience that's following her just aren't a client, aren't potential clients. So that's what happens with that algorithm. You can't filter that out. With ads, you can, right? You can just show your ads to women or just show them to men or whatever it is that you're wanting to do there. Something else I really like about ads is you can generate leads while you're learning. So, as I mentioned before, let's say you're doing your lead magnet, right? Or you're doing a webinar and maybe you don't have that all figured out, right? Maybe it's the first time you've ever done a webinar and you don't even know if it's going to convert because you haven't presented it before. Well, you can generate leads to that webinar, and then and you could still potentially get clients from that, because sometimes even if you mess everything up, and I've done this myself personally, where I have messed everything up from top to bottom, from the ad to the webinar to the pitch, whatever it is, and still made money. Sometimes that's the best way. I hate to say that, but sometimes it is. And so you can still do that. I'm not saying that you will, I'm just saying that it is possible. And let's just say that you did run some ads to your webinar. Well, even if the people didn't buy, if you think beyond just the initial sign up for it, and you look at the life cycle, because let me just say this, I'm going to kind of go off into a little bit of a rabbit hole, but when people come to you organically, obviously they have a little bit, the trust level's already there, or it's there at some level, right? So it's a lot easier to close those people, to get those people to buy whatever it is that you're offering. When you run an ad, it's not, because they don't know who you are. You just popped up. They didn't seek you out. You sought them out. And because of that, the know, like, and trust factor just isn't there. It's just not. So, that being said, when people come into your world from an ad, you really have to provide the value for them to keep them engaged, for one thing. So people who follow you are more likely to be engaged, right? People who come from an ad that get on your email list but aren't following you, they're not, right? You're counting on them to, open up their emails. And what's your email open rate? 20%, right? So, that's what you're counting on. So, when people are coming from an ad, they're not going to be at the same point in their head. I mean, none of us are when we come from an ad. So, but remember, it may just take them time. So what we tend to see is if somebody doesn't convert in the first 5 days, then they're unlikely to for about 5 months. That's typically what happens. And there is actually a step in between where it's 5 days, 5 weeks, and then 5 months. There's a good percentage that do it in 5 weeks, but it depends on what you're selling. But just remember that. So if somebody gets on your list today, it may be at least 5 months before they'll take action. So you still got to nurture them along. And that's why you build your followers and build your list. So, the next thing is every dollar that you spend on ads teaches you something that'll move you closer to making money, because it's teaching you what works and what doesn't work. Okay, maybe you're going to test out your images, you're going to test out your videos, your headlines, your offer, whatever it is. It's teaching you something. And again, if you're doing it organically, you may not be getting enough people through, or not enough people through consistently to see. Or maybe you don't want to show it to the people that you already know, like say you're changing your offer and you don't really want to show it to people who know you already. You want to wait and test it a little bit with ads and then push it out to your organic. I mean, whatever it is. So it helps with that. And then the last thing is you don't have to be an expert to see results. That's a big fallacy. You just don't. Some of the best ads that I've ever seen that do convert, the people had no idea what they were doing. I mean, I've had clients come to me, and the reason that they come to me is not because their ads aren't working, right? It's because they just don't want to mess with them, right? They're just like, ugh, just Ben, you handle it. And so when I look in their ad accounts, they're doing everything wrong, quote unquote, and yet they're converting. And, I've seen this time and time again. So It's not that you have to have perfect ads and everything perfectly set up. I would not worry about that. I would put more effort into your offer and connecting with your audience and making sure that is in total alignment and making sure that your offer is exactly what your audience wants, because that's usually the biggest issue. Okay, because you can have the crappiest ad in the world and it'll still convert, as long as your offer's great, but you can't do the reverse. You can't have the best ad in the world and your offer's crappy and it convert. That's not going to happen. So now let's talk a little bit about how to start with this. But first, if you're not already subscribed on YouTube, please do that. And if you're not watching this on YouTube, it's go to at Marketing with a Twang. Not ads with a twang, but at Marketing with a Twang. And so please subscribe. I would appreciate that. All right. Now, here's what you start. If you don't know, what to do or how you should start with $5 a day. I mean, technically you could start with $1 a day, but start with $5 a day. Commit that. Just in your head thinking, I'm going to commit $150 a month to my ads because I'm going to learn how to do this. I'm going to test some things out. I'm going to get some kind of results, good, bad, or ugly, and then I want to make the adjustments. Just go ahead and commit to $5 a day, and then figure out what your goal is for your ads. Are you trying to do engagement? That's a fair goal, right? To get more engagement. So you need to define what engagement is. Do you want more people commenting? Do you want more people messaging you? Do you want more people following you? Whatever it is. Okay. What is your goal with the ads? And don't split your goals. You need to focus on one thing. So the name of my marketing agency, and I did this a long time ago, is called One Focus Marketing, because that's what we're doing. We're one focus is on the marketing of everything. And I wanted to just kind of keep that top of mind. Same way for you on this. One focus on engagement or lead generation or whatever it is you want to do. And if you're going to do lead generation, it's one focus on your lead magnet or one focus on your challenge or your webinar or whatever it is. One focus on selling your course, whatever it is. And then remember, track the simple metrics first. And what I mean by that is you want to track the higher level metrics. Some of them are technically what we call vanity metrics, meaning all things being equal, they may not really matter. They may just be a guide. And so let's talk about what some of those are. So you want to track things like how many clicks did you get? And let's say you're doing a lead magnet. How many clicks did you get? How many people opted in? So that's your conversion rate, right? What was your how much did you spend? What was your cost per lead? What was your click-through rate? Okay, so we're trying to figure out, how much are we paying to get a lead? Is that a reasonable number? And you may not know what a reasonable number is in the beginning. Okay, you may have to arbitrarily set out a number or copy off your neighbor, which I'm not necessarily a fan of. But if you don't know where to go, ask ChatGPT, what should I, put in your niche, and then type or ask it what your average cost per lead should be. And so, and tell them specifically what you're running it to, webinar versus challenge versus whatever. But I will tell you this, ChatGPT does get it wrong a lot because it doesn't understand the nuances of it, and a lot of times it'll underestimate what your costs are. However, that being said, it's still a good starting point, and it's better than nothing. And so then once you do that, you can measure everything against that. You can also ask it, what should my click-through rate be? And so things like that, and kind of get those metrics and get the ball rolling. And then keep track of it. Okay, just do a little spreadsheet. Input the numbers daily. Don't necessarily make changes daily. A lot of times you want to let the ads run for a little while because Facebook or YouTube or whatever, they need to be able to optimize and to show your ads to the right people. When you're setting up your ads, initially, Facebook or whoever's, they're not going to know who is going to opt in. So you have to kind of be careful with that. You don't want to change too soon before they've had a chance to show it to the right people within the audience that you've selected. So don't worry about wasting money. Let me rephrase that. Do worry about wasting money, but remember that it's an investment. It's not just like you're just throwing money out there. If that's what you're going to do, then don't. But if you're going to do it and you're going to pay attention to it and you're going to optimize it and work on it, then yes, run ads every single stinking day. Okay. All right. Now I've got to run. I've got these stinking squirrels in my attic. up here, and they're making me crazy. And the critter place, that's what it's called. They're not. I mean, they won't call me back. So I've got to figure out how to get them out of here. If you know how to get squirrels out of your attic, like, do it yourself at home, simple, easy way, please get in touch with me and let me know. All right, I hope you enjoyed this, but before you go, if you're struggling with creating a lead magnet, or maybe your lead magnet's not converting, I created this entire course. It's called Lead Magnet Mastery, and it's my Lead Magnet Mastery bundle. And it's really simple. It's a document that you go through, and then I have like 5 videos on it. They're short, super short, where I walk you through how you can do it in one session. I actually called it the coffee shop walkthrough, but unfortunately, it was so stinking loud at Starbucks, I couldn't do it there. So I came home and did it, and it didn't take me 45 minutes. And I used that lead magnet that I created. I used it today. So right now I'm off. There's no pressure or anything. I'm just saying it's out there for you. It's right now it's $27, but I do price test this. So sometimes you click on, if you go to the link in the description, it may be a little more, it may be a little less, but just know that's where I typically go with at 27. All right, listen, I really appreciate you all showing up, and I'm enjoying getting back into this. So I'll see you all on episode 110. Thanks for listening to the Ads with a Twang podcast. If you get a second, jump on over to my YouTube channel, Marketing with a Twang, and subscribe. You'll get all kinds of no BS business building help there. I'll see you next time.